What is up, everybody? It is Miss Vadams here, and welcome to day 2 of this Project Zomboid Beginner's Guide, how to survive your very first week in the game. And today, we need to head out and grab ourselves a saw and a hammer. We already have a screwdriver. In fact, we have 2. These are going to be the key tools that we need in order to start barricading our base and to start protecting it against the zombies. But first thing is first, it is almost 6 in the morning, so we need to make sure to catch the cooking show, which is going to be on the Life and Living channel on the television. We should already be tuned in. Yes, we are here. If I have a little look in skills, we can have a look. We've already got 1 point into carpentry. Cooking is here. Let me speed up time a moment, and then we can see, here we go. Here we go. And we have 1 point into cooking. Amazing. Right, before we head out for the day, we want to make sure that we have some food and that we've topped up with water. I did go and cook some soup the night before, so I'm going to make sure I have a little bit of that. There we go. And then on top of that, let's have a little drink of water. What have I got? I've got an empty bowl and an empty glass. You know what? Let's fill both of these up. This whole pot of soup has been cooked, and I'm going to grab that so we can slurp from it throughout the day. Okay, so the reason we need to barricade our base is because sometime between day 6 and day 9 in your game, you will get what is known as the helicopter event. This is a meta event. You will hear the helicopter come in, and the helicopter will spot your character if you are outside or if you are inside a car. And if the helicopter spots you, well, it's going to bring a lot of zombies towards you because of the amount of noise it makes. So the idea is that we need to try and get away from the helicopter as best as possible. So the idea is we're going to stay inside and try to ride it out. Now, I know that in Echo Creek, over the river here, let me show you. This river here, if I head over this river, there is a gas station here. And this gas station is likely to have a bunch of helpful loot, maybe a saw, maybe a hammer, maybe even a gas can and a hose so that we can get cracking with filling up a car with gasoline as well. So I'm going to work my way over there. I'm just going to pull my cursor to the edge of the screen. We've already cleared out up here, so we should be good. But I do want to be careful of the zombies just in case. Now, usually when you're starting out in Project Zomboid, it is a good choice to just stay in the house that you spawn in and stay there until the shopper event is done. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. That's a very good strategy. However, with the knowledge I have in Project Zomboid, I can tell you, if you spawn in Echo Creek, it is a good idea to make your way over to this gas station that we can see here, because this area hardly has any zombies in it. There will be a couple inside, but around the edges, there's not going to be an awful lot. So it is relatively safe. And not only that, it is a gas station, so you're going to have a lot of gas to be able to fill up your generator and your car eventually. We've also got a big double garage here. We have the gas station proper itself in there, a cafe in here, and then above it, I don't know if we can actually see here. Oh, there's a nice car there. Look at that. Above it, we have an entire flat, which I do plan on taking over. There's even a basement in here. So there's a lot going on. Have we got anything? Oh, we do. You know what? I'm going to have some ice cream so that we can continue to either maintain our weight or put on a little bit of weight, which is always a good thing because in Project Zomboid, it could be quite hard to maintain weight, I find. It's really easy to lose too much weight. So I'm going to eat all of the ice cream I can. I saw a garbage bag in here. Now, funnily enough, this garbage bag actually has a saw and a hammer inside, which we need. However, a lot of the time, items in bin bags. Oh, wow. Okay, well, the saw is in good condition, so we'll keep that. The hammer is worn, so, I mean, if I can't find a better one, then we'll use it. I'm going to keep hold of the garbage bag as well, because we're going to need 4 garbage bags in order to make a rain collector, which is a very useful item for kind of long-term survival, making sure you have enough water and all that. All right, let's take a look inside. So this is the gas station. What I usually like to do is to make sure that we're all clear of zombies before we start the looting, as tempting as it is. So we're going to do the good old double E tap door trick. There we go, and that saved us just there. There was one zombie. We know they're there. We can now deal with them. Amazing. Without fail, every time I'm inside, I'm going to do the double door trick. Okay, we do have our gas can. Nice. That was one of the items on the checklist today. What else have we got? I know I said I wasn't going to loot. I was going to make sure the place was clear first. Okay, I'll stick to my plan. I'll stick to my plan. What have we got in here? Double tap E. Oh yeah, okay, this is the actual garage area, isn't it? Okay, we're looking good so far in here. Nice. What about this store cupboard here? Looking good in there as well. And what about this little bathroom? Looking good in there also. Right, let's go and check this lot for loot then. We've got another couple of garbage bags as well. Let me grab those. Now, if you did pick the smoker trait, you are likely to find cigarettes and lighters in gas stations. You only need to smoke these if you picked that particular trait. If you haven't picked it, you do not need to smoke cigarettes. In fact, they might make you feel a little bit sick, so don't bother with them unless you pick that trait. I spotted a radio here. Radios can be very useful if they have the automated emergency broadcast radio station, which they do. This is great. I'm going to grab this because we can keep an eye out using that radio station as to when we're going to get our chopper event at 9 a.m. each day. The radio broadcast system, the emergency broadcast system, will tell you if it's going to happen or not. So that is very useful. We can start listening to that from day 6 to day 9. As you can see, oh, rubber hose. This is the second item we need in order to start siphoning gasoline from cars, which could be very useful. I mean, we have a steady supply of gasoline here in the station, but just in case you don't, that is a very useful item. I'm gonna eat this cheese. I'm gonna grab this butter. Butter is a great high-calorie food item if you find it. You can also craft it using 5 litres of milk from sheep or cows, and the butter churner that you can craft with carpentry level 3. Loads of magazines and things here as well, which will be very useful for us. Let's have a look what we have out the back. All right, what do we have in this storeroom? Anything good? Another magazine. Amazing. More food. Some light bulbs. I know I had a little look in there already, but I immediately forgot what was in there. And what about in here? Okay, we've got some car parts in here. Some crafting tools as well for down the line. Some car maintenance things as well. Some regular books. Mechanics 3. That's quite nice as well. An educational book. Okay, lots of wrenches. They can also be used as weapons if we have too many of them. All right, now let's have a look in the cafe. Let's go and clear that out next. On the way past, I might grab a bottle of water, because at the moment we've been using this little glass which only holds 200 millilitres, but this bottle of water holds an entire litre. In fact, this grape soda holds 2 litres, so I could empty that out, refill it with water, and be able to carry 2 litres around with me at once, which is pretty damn good. How are we doing in here? We have a little kitchen. There's not much loot in this area here. The main loot you're going to find is going to be in the kitchen in the form of food. I'm going to put all of the fresh food into the freezer to try and keep it fresh for as long as possible. Rubber gloves. Yeah, okay, let's wear those. They give us +5 scratch defense for our hands. Very nice. Maybe another... Oh, no. No trash can in there. And then this is our bathroom. Nothing in there. Now, I could go out the back there, but I don't know exactly what's behind that door. So I'd rather play it safe and go around this way. We will check that car later as well. That looks in fairly good condition. We do have the trailer park up here to the west. That is usually a pretty good place for some loot. But as you can see, it's fairly empty of zombies here, which is great news for us if we're trying to set up a base here. Oh, wow. Is that a crowbar that I see? Is that a crowbar? One of my favourite weapons in the game, I think. It is a worn crowbar. Oh, that's typical. Worn crowbar and a freaking rotten cheesecake. Okay, we'll come and pick that bag up later, though. There's a basement in there. We'll check the basement in a moment. But first, I would like to check in here. Now, I noticed that I'd unequipped my weapon by accident. Something which I have forgotten to do, which will be helpful, is that you can actually drag weapons to your left or right belt slot, and some weapons will go on your back, and it just means that I can press 2 on my hotkey and get that weapon out at short notice. So I can't go in the door there, but can we go through the window? Can we go through? We can. All right, let's listen out to see if we've got any zombies in here. There's usually at least one. And I'm surprised we've not seen any yet, I'll be honest. It is eerily quiet. Okay, let me put the light on. Do the double door trick. We're okay in there. How about the bathroom? We're good in there. Then we've got 2 bedrooms and 2 closets. Always check the closets as well, because yes, there can be millions of zombies inside the closets. A baseball bat! Hell yeah! Oh, it's too heavy. I'm being a bit of a loot goblin and I can't carry everything. Baseball bat is a fantastic long blunt weapon. Oh wow, is there seriously none in here? Well, that is just blimmin' marvellous to not have any zombies in here at all. Next thing to do is to obviously do what we did in the other base and to close the curtains. It's also nearly midday, and midday is carpentry show, which I would really like to catch, because if we can get our carpentry up to level 3, that will really open up a lot of what we can craft. Let's turn that volume down, tune into life and living, ready for midday. Because the electricity doesn't go off straight away, you'd have to be very unlucky for it to go off on day 0. I'm gonna put the lights on just so I can see what I'm doing. I don't need to worry about my generator running out of fuel just yet anyway. Okay, trapping 1, that's nice. Some nice books around this place. What have we got in the kitchen? Food. Put up the curtains on these 2 windows. Lovely. All right, and it is time to catch the carpentry show. Something you can do when you're watching the TV, you can actually read a skill book and learn from one of the channels on Life and Living at the same time. Look at that. Multitasking. Excellent. And there we go. Not quite a new skill in carpentry, but we're almost there, I think, on level 2. Let's pop that back. In fact, let's just start sorting through some of our items here. So at the moment, we're missing a hammer. And I think, you know what, we can just drink this grape soda. Let's just drink some of that. Lovely. So we still need to clear out the basement, which is always the scariest part to clear. So I've saved it for last. Because the power is still on, we're at least going to be able to see. Ugh. There's just that little blind spot, which makes it kind of nerve-wracking. Okay. Are we good? Are we good? Okay, this is quite a big basement, as you can see. There's actually lots of little compartments that we will need to check before we start looting. That is the first one. Then you've got this massive open area here, and there's another 2 rooms out the back. So you see all this room that you've got to play with when you're using this area as a base. I can't believe there's like no zombies in here whatsoever. Flashlight, fantastic. We're absolutely going to grab that straight away. Lots of useful crafting materials in here. Some paint, some twine, some duct tape. What else have we got in these containers? You can actually move these containers around, which can be useful. Oh, crowbar, let's go. A neat condition crowbar. Yeah, if I wanted to, I could move, as long as you make sure you take everything out. Also, there's our hammer, by the way. It's a club hammer. I might need a ball peen hammer. I can't remember. Let me just grab that anyway, and we can see if we can do our crafting with that or not. But yeah, if you make sure you take everything out of the container, you can actually pick up using this icon here. There we go. And you can take this wherever you want to go. Obviously, it's weighing us down quite a bit, so you don't want to walk too far with it. But it can be useful if you want to take them and kind of plonk them in your main base somewhere. There we go. Let's just put that down for now. There's still a couple of other containers to check. Nothing massively useful in there. You can check all of these little wooden things at the back as well. A shovel, that might be useful for gardening, and we will get to gardening at some point during this mini-series. A tarp, if you want to go camping. We don't need to go camping just yet. All right, yeah, the place is clear. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to consolidate all of the useful things, and we're going to see if we can use this club hammer to start with our carpentry work. All right, so it looks like, unfortunately, we need specifically a ball peen hammer, a claw hammer, smithing hammer, or a stone hammer in order to actually use it for dismantling things. So there's 2 ways that we can do this. We can loot it, but we can also craft one. And I think now is probably a good time to introduce you to the crafting panel here on the left. If I type in hammer, there we go. We can make a stone hammer, but it does require maintenance level 1. So unless you have picked an occupation or a trait that gives you your first point in maintenance, you're not going to be able to craft this from the get-go, okay? Maybe if you're wanting to play the game in a more primitive or wilderness style, you might choose your character build accordingly. But because we haven't done that and we're a beginner here, it looks like we're just going to have to go out and continue to loot. So a few places where you might find hammers. Anywhere that has a chance of spawning industrial loot. Maybe sheds as well. Sheds, garages, shops, even car boots. And in fact, we have this car here, which I really wanted to check out because this looks pretty good condition. You never know, there might be something in the boot. Let's have a look. Can we get into the boot? We cannot, but can we get into the front of the car? Okay, it's locked. It's locked, which means, unfortunately, unless we smash the window and hotwired it, which we can't do just yet, we're not going to be able to drive it. 70%, 77% condition now, that's pretty good. Maybe we can get there, who knows, but for now we're going to have to leave it. It does look like there's another car here as well. Let's have a look in the boot here. This looks like some kind of work truck. Could be a hammer if we're lucky. And that looks like the boot is open. Oh, wow. Well, we've got some good loot in here, including a lead pipe, which makes a very nice short blunt weapon. Unfortunately, no hammer though, so we will have to keep looking. How are we doing here? This car looks reasonable condition. Okay, 74%. The gas tank's not looking too great, but the engine's looking pretty good. And we can get inside. We can unlock the boot. Have we got a key? No, but we've got a carton of fresh eggs. I'll grab them. Why the hell not? Firecrackers, interesting. All right, no key. What about a hammer, though? Pressing all the wrong buttons. No, toilet paper and tarp. On to the next. On to the next. Okay, this boot is also open. We have a tire iron. That's a nice short blunt weapon as well as being used for mechanics. Okay, that is not open, that one. What about this car? Let me have a look. That boot is locked. Can we get in the side here? We cannot. We've hardly seen any zombies today. And look, they're all hanging out here. Look at this. Okay, so we've got a group down there and we've got 3 over here. Honestly, where possible, just avoid them. Unless you really need to kill them, unless you aggro them, just avoid them. It is really the best port of call, I think. I'm actually going to head north up here because I know that there is a little kind of farm garage thing up here. If we're lucky, we might be able to find some good loot in there. There's also a farmer's market up here, which has a bunch of food, a bunch of fresh food. If you can grab fresh food early enough and put it away in the freezer, then you will be set. But here we go. We've got, I don't even know what this is. It looks like some kind of like big old industrial garage of some sort. Now, the doors will be locked here, I think. However, sometimes they're not. And sometimes there is a way to get zombies to kind of aggro and break the door. You can kind of use the zombies to your advantage. There is a build site here, but I've noticed every time I come here that the storage boxes tend to just have planks of wood. Yeah, there we go, look. Planks of wood and wood splinters. I've never actually found anything useful here. But you never know, you might get lucky. All right, let's see. Is this going to be locked? I bet it is. Yep. Now, sometimes if there are zombies inside and you rattle on the door, they will hear that and they will come towards it and start breaking it from the inside. This is the food market I was talking about. Let's load up on this food. As long as it's still fresh, so we can take it back with us. What have we got? Fresh cherry pie slice. I'm going to eat it, actually. I'm going to eat as much of this as I can. To pile on the pounds in anticipation of winter. Okay, I can't eat anymore. We're too full. Let's just grab all that we can then. All of the mushrooms, all of the kale, the vegetables, all of the cake, everything. Absolutely everything. And then essentially we'll just put it in the freezer when we get back. Also, if the food has started to go bad here and you can't cook with it, you can turn it into compost. Rotten food is never a waste in Project Zomboid. So don't worry if you don't get to it in time before it goes off, because yeah, there will be a use for it. Now, we are pretty overburdened right now, which is not good. I would warn against this, but since we're here, in anticipation for looting this at some point. I just want to see if I can do this. So we're going to aggro a zombie and very calmly walk towards the front of this building, towards the doors. Are you still following, pal? Ideally, if you've got a couple of them, this actually works better, but one will do. And what I'm going to do is because I know it's safe around the corner, I'm going to hug in as tight as I can and around the back like that. Oh, there's another one here. Perfect. Let's get them in as well. There we go. See how it's bashing on the wall there? See how they're bashing? Oh, we're tired. That's bad. That is very bad. Once you see this Moodle and you're drowsy, stop what you're doing and head back. Whatever it is that you're doing, head back. This is a really bad Moodle to be out in and to fight with, because it severely reduces your oh god, there's a lot of zombies there. Your speed, your movement, your melee damage. It is time to call it a day. Unless you have caffeine pills on you that you can take in an emergency, it will kind of negate the drowsiness for a very short period of time. Yeah, it is time to go home. Don't worry about those zombies. We can walk away from them. Again, if there's a lot following you, as long as you're not too over-encumbered or injured, you can outwalk them. But yeah, it is time to head home. I think, unless I run, I'm going to run. I'm going to run because I know it's clear down here. I think we're probably going to miss the survival show, sadly. There is a survival show on Life and Living at 6 o'clock. But I'm going to try and make it if I can. Try and catch like the last 10 minutes of it. Did we miss it? Are these the adverts? Here we go. We're just on time. Welcome back to Exposure Survival. What are we going to learn about today? This is going to be something like agriculture, fishing, foraging, trapping, something like that. We're going to be learning one of those skills. Let's have a look. Moodles are a thing right now. It just does go to show that you can stack up negative Moodles and it's not the end of the world. But ideally, you do want to be managing these as you go. I can actually listen to this TV even on the lowest volume from a little bit away. So I'm going to go stand over here and start putting all of these food items into the fridge. There we go. Just so that we're not over encumbered anymore. I'm going to eat that entire pot of soup. Yes, I'm eating all of the soup. We have plenty of food, so it's all good. Looks like we got a skill in agriculture as well for when we're ready to farm. That's awesome. We can do a little bit of reading before bed. Where were those books? Did I put them in my bag? I did. What did we get? Read. Oh, we had 2 of the Lane's auto manuals. Damn it. Okay, there was two of the same book there. I'm going to sort out everything that I don't think I need. Probably a good time to have a look at what is important to carry around with you as well, whether you're a beginner or whether you're a veteran in the game. Spare battery is always good, even though it's got hardly any juice in. It's the only spare we've got. That'll be useful for the flashlight, which I'm going to go and equip in my secondary slot. I'm going to press F to turn the flashlight on and off, by the way. There we go. Lovely. Lighter, I mean, unless you are a smoker, that might not be massively useful. Or if you're doing a primitive playthrough and you need to be able to light a fire, it could be very handy indeed. I like to carry one just in case, so I'll leave that there. Alcohol bottle for disinfecting rags. We should go and do that right now, because now we have disinfected bandages for if we do get scratched or lacerated. They can help prevent regular infection. The disinfectant won't protect against the Nox, the zombie virus. But yeah, I'm going to go and disinfect all of those. Thread, if we could find a needle to go with that thread, that would be very useful in case we need to do some emergency stitching up from an injury. I'll keep the tire iron. That can be useful as a secondary weapon. We've obviously got our water bottle, our ID card. That is, honestly, it has no actual mechanical purpose, but I kind of like to keep hold of it, so we'll keep that. Screwdriver might be useful for dismantling doors and things to get into basements, or any kind of locked wooden door that might be useful for. And pretty much everything else is good to go. Since we're in that second stage of tiredness, I think we should probably think about calling it a night. So folks, we now have established ourselves a new base at the Echo Creek gas station. We have a screwdriver and a saw. We are almost ready to start thinking about barricading our base, but we do need to find ourselves a hammer before we can do that. So that is our mission, and barricading this base for the next episode. So we should go to sleep. There we go. We are 3 stages into tiredness. Let's see how long we stay in bed for. Hopefully we can get up before the cook show in the morning. Can we do it before 6 o'clock? No, we've missed the cook show. That's okay though. We've still got a few days that we can catch it. But yeah, if you did like the content, please consider dropping a like and subscribe. It really does help me out. And until next time, folks, over and out. See you later.